Welcome back to Awakening the Inner Avatar. Today, we're talking about the Guru in Book 2 of Avatar, The Last Airbender. This episode is one of the most spiritual episodes in the entire series. It's about energy, about emotional healing, about the things inside us that block our growth. Because before Aang can master the avatar state, he has to face the deeper truth. You cannot bring balance to the world if there is chaos inside yourself. And what unfolds in this episode is a powerful journey through the emotional layers of being human. The episode opens with Zuko waking up after his fever. Something feels different about him. Uncle Iroh notices it immediately. Zuko says, "It feels like a new day, a fresh start." And they have something to celebrate. The opening of the Jasmine Dragon tea shop. For the first time in a long time, Zuko seems peaceful. Aang and Sokka arrive near the Water Tribe fleet. Sokka suddenly becomes nervous. He's about to see his father again after so long. When he walks into the tent, Hakoda immediately stands and embraces him. It's one of those quiet moments of love that says everything without needing many words. Back in Ba Sing Se, Azula, Mai, and Ty Lee continue their deception. Disguised as the Kyoshi warriors, they've gained access to the palace. And unknowingly, the Earth King reveals the entire invasion plan. The solar eclipse strategy, the timing, everything. Azula doesn't even need to ask. The king tells her himself. And quietly, the takeover of Ba Sing Se begins. Meanwhile, Aang reaches the Eastern Air Temple. Guru Patik is waiting, a spiritual friend of the air nomads, a friend of Monkey Atso, and the person who will teach Aang how to control the avatar state. But first, Aang must understand something deeper: energy. Guru Patik explains that energy flows through the body like water through a creek. And when emotional muck blocks the flow, our energy cannot move freely. These pools of energy are called chakras. There are 7 of them, and each one is blocked by a different emotional struggle. We begin with the root chakra, which is blocked by fear. Aang sees all the moments he feared for his life. Guru Patik reminds him, the vision is not real. Fear must flow away. And the first chakra opens. Next is the water chakra, which is blocked by guilt. Aang remembers running away from the air temple. He blames himself for the suffering that followed. Guru Patik tells him something powerful. Accept what happened, but forgive yourself. And with this, the second chakra opens. The next chakra is the fire chakra, which is blocked by shame. Aang remembers hurting Katara while learning firebending. He swore he would never firebend again. Guru Patik reminds him, You cannot deny part of who you are. The avatar must embrace all elements. And then with this, the third chakra opens. Following with the air chakra, and this one is blocked by grief. Aang remembers losing the air nomads, his entire people. Guru Patik tells him something beautiful. Love never disappears. It transforms. And Aang sees that love again through his friends and through Katara. And with this, the fourth chakra opens. Next is the sound chakra, and this one is opened up by truth. This chakra is blocked by lies we tell ourselves. Aang admits something deeply honest. He never wanted to be the avatar, but he accepts that it is his nature. And with this, by accepting himself, he opens up the fifth chakra. Next is the light chakra, and this one is blocked by illusion. Guru Patik explains the greatest illusion of the world, the illusion of separation. The four nations are not separate. The elements are not separate. Everything is connected. At the same moment, across the world, Toph realizes that metal is simply refined earth, and she invents metal bending. And with this, the sixth chakra opens. And now the seventh chakra, the final chakra, is the thought chakra, the crown chakra. And this one is blocked by attachment. Guru Patik tells Aang that to master the avatar state, he must let go of his earthly attachments. And the person who appears in Aang's mind is Katara. Guru Patik tells him, let her go. Let the cosmic energy flow. For a moment, Aang tries. But then he sees a vision of Katara in danger, and he makes a choice. He chooses love. He leaves the temple and flies back toward Ba Sing Se. At the same time, Toph escapes her captors by inventing metal bending. Sokka prepares for battle beside his father. Azula makes a deal with Long Feng. Zuko and Uncle Iroh are invited to serve tea at the palace. Every storyline is moving toward the same place, Ba Sing Se, and the storm that's about to begin. Let's pause. Take a breath. This episode teaches us something powerful about emotional healing. Fear loses power when we face it. Avoiding fear keeps it alive. Facing it allows it to move through us. Now, something that we can ask ourselves is, what fear am I ready to acknowledge instead of avoid? This is something that it's basically something that we have to face if we want to get to the other side of certain things, or to the other side of certain things. Not sure if that makes sense, but when we are in a place of evolution, when we are shifting things or really trying to stay on a certain path, certain things like fear or different types of fears might come up, and instead of avoiding them, in order to move through it all and past it all, we must face it. And so it is something that we have to kind of sit and reflect on, really think about what we are afraid of in this moment, and make the choice, the decision to acknowledge it and move through it. Now, an affirmation that can help us with declaring that we are acknowledging this fear is this, and you can repeat after me. I allow fear to move through me without controlling me. And that's just it. It's not that we are trying to just remove the fear. It's acknowledging the fear, and it's acknowledging it enough and basically declaring that you're not allowing your fear to control your moves and how you move. So I believe that that affirmation is not just an affirmation, but a declaration that we are not going to let our fears control us no matter what. Healing requires self-forgiveness. We cannot move forward if we stay trapped in guilt. Now, something that we can ask ourselves is, what part of my past needs compassion instead of blame? This is something that, like, even in this moment, I kind of grapple with this question myself. We have a lot of things in our lives that sometimes we blame ourselves for or blame other people for. And it really is something that we kind of have to sit with and observe and just say, I need to be more compassionate. Sometimes when I do my prayers, at night or anything like that, what I do is I ask God, I ask the universe, I ask God to help me be more patient and compassionate with myself and with other people. And by that, I don't just mean like in the present moment. I mean, yes, in the present moment, but also in the past. Think about decisions I made or decisions other people made, and just have compassion for them. Understand that things weren't in the right time or in the right place or in the right mindset for things to come into fruition. And so it's about acknowledging that. And then ultimately forgiving yourself for feeling guilty, forgiving other people for whatever actions or decisions they made in that situation. And so, with this question also comes this affirmation, and you can repeat after me. I forgive myself and allow healing to begin. I think that when we are in a path of self-reflection, self-awareness, and healing work, it really is about taking a look at what's going on, acknowledging it, and then the next step is forgiveness. Forgiveness, like self-forgiveness, and forgiving other people. And that's how you start really the healing process. You start to heal when you decide to forgive yourself for it. Love and attachment are not the same. Love expands us. Attachment can trap us. Learning the difference is part of spiritual growth. Now, something that we can ask ourselves is, what am I holding on to that may be blocking my growth? And this is something that can end up going back to guilt. Guilt or something that hasn't received proper closure, people, relationships, situations. Kind of, I guess, acknowledging that, because sometimes we're never really going to get closure with people. But with situations and I would say with situations, you might be able to get closure, but basically is acknowledging that you are holding on to something that's blocking your growth. And then thinking about what can we do to unblock ourselves? What can we do? What questions do we need to ask ourselves? And how can we let go of what is holding us back from growth? Now, an affirmation that can help us with this and in these moments that we may have is, and you can repeat after me, I allow love to flow freely without fear. Ultimately, love is always the answer, so it all comes back to love. Do we love ourselves enough? Do we acknowledge how much we love ourselves to let go, to detach of what's holding us back, of what's holding our growth back? And then we allow that love that we have for ourselves to flow through us, flow through our bodies, flow through our spirit in order to process and move freely without fear. The guru reminds us that awakening isn't just about gaining power. It's about understanding ourselves, our fears, our grief, our guilt, our truth. And sometimes the most powerful step forward is the moment we choose love, even when it complicates the path. Thank you for joining me on this journey through awakening the inner avatar. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep walking the path within. This podcast is a fan-created project intended for educational and spiritual reflection. All clips, references, and content related to Avatar, The Last Airbender, Star Wars, Rebels, and other media are used under fair use for commentary, analysis, and transformative discussion. All rights to original shows, characters, and music belong to their respective creators and copyright holders.